Oh my god, chat. We're here. I'm soaking wet. Oh boy. We did it. We did it, chat. Let me share the stream real quick and then we'll get started. What's up, Brennan Murphy? I'm here. I'm back. We're gonna do some streaming. Today's a shorter stream because I've got more stuff I gotta do. Yesterday was off because of the hospital stuff. So I'm here for a bit. I'll be back in full swing tomorrow for a long stream. And yeah. Thanks, Dome. I have to cook for an event tonight, so I'm gonna get off of here around 4:30 EST in about 3.5 hours. And yeah, I might come back after the event if I get the energy to stream. I'll try, but we'll see. Sid flipped up 5 AM playing Dragon's Dogma. How far did you get? I played it for a little bit, but it came out right at midnight here, so I didn't want to stay up super fucking late and destroy my schedule. I got decent. I got to the capital. I got to the capital city, and immediately realized that the game doesn't give you a ton of warnings about wasting money. So I blew through a bunch of money accidentally, and then I turned the game off. But how are you liking it? So far, I'm all in. What am I cooking? Well, the event is it's meat themed. They wanted to have a meat themed event. And I'm not the only person cooking. I'm cooking a main for it, but it's sort of like not really a potluck, but there's a couple people that cook, bringing different things. So for the size of the group of people, and because I couldn't decide what to cook, I'm making a giant sausage board, which is like a charcuterie board with 10 different kinds of sausage, all different kinds of pickles, different cheese dips, different spreads. And I'm toasting a couple baguettes, put next to it so people can make sandwiches or use toothpicks. But it's going to be like a giant sausage charcuterie board, basically. Because I didn't want to spend all day making something insane. I was going to do meat pies, but doing meat pies for 40 people is like, that would take 5 hours minimum just to roll all the dough and cook that amount of meat. And yeah. So I'm gonna do something simple. I'm gonna roast it all and then just plate it in a nice way. But yeah. What's up, Rattle Clan? So what dungeons did you find, Brendan? I found a cave behind a waterfall that was full of like saurians. Yeah, I love Dragon's Dogma 1. It felt incomplete because I think Capcom even admitted it was incomplete. They had to release it ahead of when they wanted to because Itsuno had to do other stuff. But for what they were able to achieve, it was like, I don't know, it's just a cozy game. It's what I want a Dungeons and Dragons game to feel like. It feels like old school, like kind of 80s D&D. Like the dark and spooky stuff is really dark and spooky. The weird stuff is weird. It feels empty when it needs to feel empty. It's not super obvious. Enemies aren't neon glowing orange telling you where to hit them and stuff. Like I don't know, it feels very like, it's got the aesthetics of like a low budget 80s movie with the art direction of a AAA Capcom game. It's weird. I haven't found any other dungeons yet. I just found that waterfall thing. I might stream when I get back from the party tonight, but if I'm being realistic, I'm probably gonna put 6 hours into Dragon's Dogma. I'll tell you what I couldn't kill. There was a, oh, what are they called? They're not the Cyclopses, they're the other ones. The fucking, they look like big gorillas, kinda. Fuck, they were in the first one, and their model looks exactly the same. One jumped out at me at night, and I could not. It kept picking me up and throwing me off a cliff over and over and over and over and over again. I was like, dude. What's up, Artie? Yeah, the ogres. Oh my god, I could not beat that thing. It was like a fucking damaged sponge. And it kept grabbing me and throwing me off a cliff. I was like, alright. Had to just run past it. All of the people that were escorting me to the Capitol died. So, when you get to the Capitol, I'll tell you this. There's a new system in the game where if an NPC that's important dies, they go to the charnel house. It's like a morgue. And you can pay to revive them. But they word it in a weird way where they say, like, would you like to revive a corpse? It costs 5,000. And you're like, okay. And then you select, like, look at the corpses. Just to look at who's in there, it charges you the 5,000. So be careful. You're gonna lose a ton of money just for looking. So, like, unless you have a reason to go there, don't even browse, because it's just gonna take cash from you. That was worded poorly. Dude, I want to make a Dragon's Dogma drinking game live on stream where every time somebody says "ought," but I would die. I would die in 3 seconds. I found aught of import. Perhaps there's aught you could find on that hill. Ah, I am questing for Art of Legend. Art. Very, very heavy on the art. It's great so far. It's basically just Dragon's Dogma 1, but with a new camera and a new HUD. The controls feel a little sluggish, but I'm not sure if that's just me not being used to the new camera angle. It's more zoomed in, so things feel a little slower. I thought it felt a little sluggish in the controls at first, but I'm still getting used to it. But I don't know, Brendan, did you feel the same way? Did it feel a little gummy? I just started with a warrior, so maybe like the rogue and stuff are faster. But the first one felt, I don't know. The first one was a little floaty in a fun way, where like if something threw you, you would just fly and you'd have no control. But this one, it feels a little more... Oh, you can zoom the... Oh, Brendan, I love you. I bet that'll fix it. Yeah, dude, hell yeah. I'll check that out when I inevitably play it till 3 in the morning. Here's my hope for tonight, okay? I get enough of this painting done that I don't feel like today was a total waste. And then I come home after this party that I hopefully have a good time at. People love the food I bring, oh my goodness. And then I sit down and I play Dragon's Dogma, and I find a spooky dungeon with a cool monster in it that was not part of a quest. I just wander around, I just find one naturally, and I go, oh my god, I'm so immersed. I'm so immersed in this world that is not Gran Soren. It's something else that I don't remember the name of. Yeah. There you go. That's my hope for tonight. I think it's achievable. I think this dream is achievable. Yeah, okay, Brendan, so you noticed the same thing. It does have that weird, like, I have to get ready before I run, and then when I stop running, I stop and I kind of float back. Like, Rockstar is a very good way to put it. It's got that weird, like, every action has a little hesitant thing before and after it, so you're kind of like, there's like a weird momentum that makes it feel kind of slippery. The first one had that too, but it usually only had it when you were like choosing to run or when something threw you. So it's not like necessarily a bad thing, I'm just not quite used to it yet. Dude, I am so ready to find Aught of Import. Oh my god. If someone sends me on a quest to find Aught of Import, dude, I'm so ready. Don't even get me started on Aught of Interest. Somebody wants me to go find some Aught of Interest? Dude, I'm gonna lose my shit. What's up, Riley? Oh my god, Brendan, we can send each other our pawns. Oh my god. Oh my god. We can have a whole Crimson Daggers Redux pawn guild. Oh my lord. I'm gonna sound like a teenage girl talking about her fantasy boyfriend, where I'm like, my pawn? He's a strong silent type. He's kind of a lion man who's about 7 feet tall. He's a sorcerer, I know. Book boyfriend. It's literally that. I'll tell you the one thing I don't like, and you can tell me if you can change this in the settings. This is one thing I do not like, and it's because my eyesight sucks. It's not because it's bad, it's because my eyesight sucks. In the original, if my character's here, and there's an ogre back here, and there's an NPC who's on the ground, the text for the NPC would be down here, and it would say, "Help! I'm trouble." And if, so here's the new one. Here's the screen. Here's my guy. Here's the ogre. Here's the NPC. The words he says are above him, and they move with the camera. So if I get closer to the ogre, the text goes over here with the body. I cannot fucking stand that. That's my vision sucks. I can't read those words, and I don't want to follow them with my eyes. I don't know if there's a way to turn that off. Holy shit, do I hate that. That's my only one real complaint. Maybe they'll patch that? I don't know. That's the one thing I cannot fucking stand. There is a pawn sharing system. We'll figure it out. We'll get there, okay? We'll make it work. We can send each other rotten beast scrag as a thank you. It'll be great. I have acquired a lot of interest on my travels. Rotten scrag of beast. Every time. I have, I will say, Brendan, I have no clue how big the world is from the map I've explored so far. It feels like it's going to be ridiculously big, but I couldn't gauge it. I wonder if there's one contiguous map, or if there's like zones of huge maps. Like, oh, you're in this country now, we're going to load a new map. Or if they're all like seamless. I know that, I mean, in the first 5 minutes of the game, you travel to a different country. So I'm assuming you can go back to the country you were in. Here's what I'm gonna call this. We're gonna see if I'm right. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna call this. I think they're gonna do a Pokemon Gold and Silver. What do I mean by that? Well, I think, was it Pokemon Gold and Silver where at the end, when you beat the game, you can go back to the Kanto region from the first Pokemon Red and Blue, and the whole game is there? I think somewhere in this game, we're gonna go back to Grand Soren, and there's gonna be a fleshed out version of it. I think, because I don't think it would be hard for them to take that map and drop it into this game, because compared to what this game is, it feels tiny. I think either in a DLC or in the main game, we're going back to Grand Soren. My main pawn, it's the guy I described. It's a 7-foot tall lion man who's a sorcerer. It was super funny loading up the Rift thing, like within the first hour of the game dropping, and going in and seeing that people had already recreated every character from every fantasy, everything ever. Like Geralt and Yennefer, and like just walking around in the Rift. I was like, this is great. This is so great that these people are all playing this right now. All good. Today's a short stream, so we're not going to get a ton done, but I'm going to try anyway. Here's what I want. Here's what I would do if I was Capcom. I think somewhere in the quest, they're going to be like, the Arisen hasn't shown up since 1,000 years ago when it destroyed a kingdom in the south, a doomed, cursed place that nobody goes to. Lean into the Forbidden Kingdom kind of like domain. And that place was called Grand Soren. Legend has it that the dragon came and there was an earthquake and it swallowed the whole city and there was a cult and blah blah blah. No one goes there anymore. It's a woo. And then we get to go back and it's like the city's all destroyed and it's full of cool monsters and like all the shit we remember is all like overgrown and fucked up, and like that's what I want. I want that. I want that vibe. That's what I want. Am I gonna get it? Probably not. But I want it. Legend has it, there was a hole in the very earth called the Everfall, where the souls of pawns, blah blah blah, a cursed place that we sealed away. I'm glad you liked that stream. That was a fun one. I don't think we're doing an audiobook for the third Steve Kickstarter. I don't think we are. But if we do, I'll stream it. Yeah, that's what I like about it. It would be cool because of what happens at the end of that game, though, for it to be like a cursed forbidden place, because I'm pretty sure at the end of the game they open up like a hole in the earth that goes to the Everfall that never gets closed. And it's like apocalypse time. It'd be cool if they sealed off the whole place and like 1,000 years later you gotta go back. Oh man, I'm really glad you like the audiobooks. We feel like no one listened to them really, so we were like probably not gonna spend, because they take a lot of time to do the audio quality that I do. I do tons of sound effects and music and shit. But we feel like no one really listened to them. But I don't know, maybe we'll do another one. I don't know. Trigger warning for anyone who's gonna get the audiobooks. There are some no bad words in there. Topics including murder, rape, turning into a rat, and getting kidnapped and going to Mars, turning into a rat, playing bass in a band, turning into a rat that's horny. Yeah, just watch out. The best part of the audiobooks was that I had to record them in front of a guy who was just a normal guy with like a goatee and like a hockey jersey and a Disturbed t-shirt under it with like gauges in his ears. And I'm like in a booth doing a rat impression. That was the best part. I don't know if anyone here is a South Park fan, but I did learn something about South Park that is so fucking funny to me. There's a recent episode where, well, I say recent, in the last few years, where they revealed that the black character Token, his name isn't Token because that would be racist, his name is Tolkien, and nobody's pronouncing the L. And to do like a Berenstein fucking alternate reality like gaslighting thing, they went back into every single episode available online and they changed the fucking subtitles of the show to make his name Tolkien. It is wild, the dedication to that troll. I love that they did that. Like, I can't believe the dedication to that gaslighting the audience bit. What do you mean his name's Token? That's racist. You're racist. His name's Tolkien. He's a fantasy nerd. Go back and change hundreds of episodes. That's great. I love them. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are like, I don't know. They're in another level of creativity. Brendan, did you enjoy immediately fighting that fucking Ray Harryhausen ass Medusa? I was like, oh my god, I'm in a claymation movie. I love this. I love that it was like right away. Just like, here you go, it's a Medusa. Yeah, that 6 Days to Air documentary is dope. Did you get the thing, Brendan, with the Cyclops, where if you can trick him into hitting the rocks with his thing, the rocks will explode and the river will come out of the dam, and it'll wash him down and take like half his health away? I thought that was cool. That there's like environmental hazards you can trick the monsters into doing. That felt very Monster Hunter. That felt like in Monster Hunter World when you trick the Rathalos into going into the waterfall kind of thing. Capcom's been killing it. Resident Evil, Dragon's Dogma, Monster Hunter. Everything they've been doing lately has been great. They're having a huge comeback. What's up, Maddie? Good to see you. Let's look at this thing. I think today is just going to be rendering tentacles. Pretty sure that's all we're going to get done today. But that's okay. It has to get done. Thanks, Maddie. Nice, Brandon. That's excellent. This is day 5 of this piece. Last time was day 4.5. I'm dying. We're getting into the stretch where I usually stop working on stuff because the fun part's over, the creative part, now I'm just rendering. This is usually where I lose interest in a painting, so you get to see me power through and fucking try to finish this desperately in under 10 days. Alright, buddy, thank you. Have a good day. Have a fun time. I wish I could put a full day into this today, but unfortunately I have to go to a thing tonight. But I should be back for a full day tomorrow. We'll get a good 8 or 9 hours into this tomorrow. April 18th. Oh my god. That's so soon. When did they announce that? That's the Leviathan one, right? Oh shit. I gotta get on that. I gotta get on that. Hey, Sarah. Oh, man. I have a Final Fantasy 16 piece I was doing for Square, but they put it on hold. I'm not sure if it's gonna get done. I'd love to show you, but I can't. I really liked it too. I hope we finish it. I really enjoyed it. I was working on it last summer when the game came out, and then they put a stop order on it just because I might just finish it for me, because I really like the composition. I just gotta make sure it's okay with them first. Because I think technically they own it. But I really liked what we came up with. It was sort of like my Elden Ring stuff. It was like hyper detailed with a lot of cool little references to the game and stuff. But yeah, I really like that piece. I hope I get to finish it. Sarah, are you the Sarah I know in real life, or do you just coincidentally have the same name? I won't. We're in the insane levels of detail phase of finishing this dumb piece to make all the jiggly tentacle bits look shiny and slimy. Everyone's favorite. Maddie, how far are you in 7? If you don't mind me asking. I finished it last week, so you can't spoil me. Did I play 14? I want to. I don't know anyone to play it with, and I think it would take, what, 400 hours probably to catch me up to speed? I just don't know if I have the time. I want to play 14 so bad because I love all the people involved. I love the art. I love what they've done with the music and the world. I love that you can ride around in Yoshitaka Amano's Magitech design. I want to sacrifice my life to that game. I don't know if it's too late to play it. I don't know if I even could have the time to play it. I want to desperately. It's like my one big blind spot that I wish I could have hopped on the train for when it came out. Oh yeah, I used to do streams every day for like 14 hours at a time. Then I took a big break after we published our books, and now I'm getting back into it. So I'm live most days of the week now. I'll be live all day tomorrow. Today I have to do a short stream because I got to go to a thing later. I got to cook a bunch of food for a dinner party thing. But I'll be here all day tomorrow. Yeah, my mom is still in remission. She's good. Her cancer tests and stuff went yesterday. Sorry I wasn't streaming yesterday, guys. I had to take my mom up to Boston to do her 6-month trials to make sure her cancer's not coming back. So I was up there all day. Things look good. Tests came back good. So that's all good news. Oh my god, Maddie, that is so tempting. I might DM you on Instagram just to ask you like how much of a time commitment the game is. I've got some questions. I would love to play that game. I just don't know how much of it I have to play to get to the good stuff. Like, Final Fantasy XIV is a game I would treat like a museum. I'd just be going through it to look at the art and like take screenshots and stuff. If there's a way to like, that's one of the few games where if they offered like a payment thing to level boost just to get into the stuff without grinding, I would absolutely do it because I would only be playing the game to look at shit. I want to see all the cool art. I want to see all the cool remixes of the old Amano designs. Like, that's one of those things where it's a 400-hour commitment and my time is worth more than the money, so I would definitely pay. Oh, nice. I'm glad you're getting commissions. That's awesome. Start with Heavensward. Okay. I've had a lot of the games spoiled for me through osmosis because I've done work for Square on 14 for marketing and event stuff. So like I know a lot of stuff that's in Heavensward already, but I want to see the rest of it. I want to play it. The Knights of the Round redesign is awesome. That is so cool. I'm wondering if they're going to keep that design when they reintroduce them in the third part of the FF7 trilogy, or if they're going to redesign them. My favorite stuff is from Final Fantasy VI, so the statues of the goddesses, the Magitech armor, the Kefka stuff, like seeing all that in 3D is so cool for me. Have I ever art directed before? I'm currently art directing for an RPG book part-time and would eventually need to find artists, but the budget is low for the project. You done any? Yeah, I've done. I mean, reach out to me on Instagram, dude. We can talk. I know some people who would be interested in probably doing it, even if the budget is low. And I've definitely art directed some stuff in the past, so yeah, reach out to me on Instagram. We can talk about it. I mean, depending what you need, I don't know how busy I'm gonna be, but I was honestly thinking about reaching back out to Pathfinder the other day because I miss rendering items. Depending what stuff you need, I might even be interested in doing some of it. I just like everything I did for Pathfinder was fun, but I really miss getting a spreadsheet of items and they're like, render this magical locket, render this sword, render this cloak made out of swirling sand. Like, that stuff was like so peaceful. I didn't have to like, I could just be creative. I didn't have to worry about like matching a 3D model in a game or getting a likeness down. It was just like, what would an amulet of Screaming Sorrow look like? Like, I don't know, that shit was so fun. All I need to know, Mike, is what skill level you need the artists to be, and then I can start putting out feelers to see if anyone I know is looking for work. I just need the budget and the skill level. But I have a handful of people that might be interested. I will say, if it's for an RPG book, the one piece of advice I'd give you is to stray away from the crowd. Like, everyone's trying to do the, like, D&D, the modern D&D aesthetic, where it's, like, just kind of painted sort of Wes Burt, Jason Chan looking stuff, and it's, like, fun, goofy. Like, I would say stay away from that, because the market's very saturated. I'd say find a niche. Like, the most successful Kickstarter stuff for RPG books is stuff like Escape the Dark Castle went like full 80s, where it was just pen and ink and the drawings were intentionally like not super modern looking. Like, find a cool aesthetic that isn't overplayed. Find a cool niche and lean into it heavy. It's not fantasy? Okay, cool. Now I'm extra interested. If it's non-fantasy RPG, I'm like very curious. You guys want to say hi to a special guest? What are you doing, Pop? Come here. Oh. Say hi to the stream. Yeah? What's wrong? Why are you looking at my leg? What's up? Alright, go. Her name is Eiley, like Eileen without the N. Eiley. No, I'm not calling you. I'm just saying your name to chat. I love you. Jordy, great name. Jordy LaPup. Jordy LaPooch. Are you bringing Jordy with you to London? That's gonna be cool. Yeah, it's Mike086. Mike's been around the industry for a long time. Mike's got connections, Nemanja. Me and Mike go way back to the good old days. And by that I just mean we were younger. Mike's worked on and around a ton of cool shit. Yeah, Mike was in Crimson Daggers, right, Mike? I mean, I know you were around. I think you were, yeah, you were posting and stuff. I've known you so long, I don't remember what we've done together. Because we've kind of just, like, been in the same circles, like, forever. But, yeah, Mike's been around for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, I thought so. Oh boy. Yes, that's right. I know I used to watch you stream. I was trying to remember who you were streaming with. I know I had you on to talk a few times. Back when it was like daily study therapy sessions. And then you got involved with some Hollywood adjacent stuff, some California biz around the same time me and Dave did, and yeah. I think I'm going to submit an oil painting I just finished to a gallery to try to get accepted to paint a portrait for an exhibit they will have in June. I need to start making money off oil. You can do it. You can totally do it. I've seen you posting your stuff. Your stuff's great. Full confidence that you can make that transition. If you ever need another set of eyes on your stuff, just shoot me a message. But yeah, you can totally do that. I've never painted an oil. I'm so impressed by that. I went to an art school and I still have never painted an oil. They wouldn't let us. They didn't have proper ventilation, so they forced us to use acrylic. It was so fucking dumb. I have all my thesis acrylics over there in a box. They wouldn't let me use oil for any of them. It was such a fucking bummer. Mike, I want to get all the old people from the old group back together for a stream. I want to get Nate Hallinan. I want to get James Zapata. I want to get Sam Carr. I want to get all of them. I want to talk about where everyone's been, what they've been doing, what dreams came true, what stuff they're still working on. Because I will say, not to like, it wasn't me or Dave that are responsible for any of this. It was all the members of the group doing the hard work that they did. But Crimson Daggers was crazy successful. Like, me and Dave ended up doing exactly what we wanted to do. Fucking Sam's doing awesome stuff. James Zapata ended up working for Square Enix and fucking Blizzard. Like, Brent Hollowell started doing Magic the Gathering paint. Like, everybody who was like a regular in the old group basically got some version of what they were trying to get, which is wild. Really, really cool that it worked out for so many people. Nate's doing like actual movie shit. Hey, WCuz. I sent Dave a ridiculous birthday gift yesterday. I don't know when he's gonna get it though. You might see it on some of his future streams. I'm not gonna say what it is in case he listens to this, but it was very funny. I bought one for myself, and I'll just say they don't make them anymore. They're very hard to get. Extremely hard to get. And they accidentally sent me 2 of them. And I was like, well, I'm not returning this. I'm giving this to Dave. We're just gonna hold on to these. It's not even there yet, it's still shipping. I don't know. I don't know if they make safer solvents. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about oil. I'd love to teach myself. Maddie, you should do oil painting streams. That would be fucking awesome. Set up a webcam on the canvas and like show your palette and stuff. That'd be so cool. I'd watch that. I feel like traditional painting streams are few and far between, to the point of almost non-existent. I think you could capitalize on that. Sarah, do you know if Dave Bondar is alive? Is he like...
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
Oh my god, I thought I said Siri when I said Sarah. Give me a fucking break. Anyway. I haven't heard from Dave since pre-pandemic, when I was lecturing up at Leslie. Not Dave Raposa, Dave Bondar. He was an old mentor of mine in college who has gone off the grid. What music is this? I'll give you the actual name. If you go to YouTube and you type in Cyberdream brackets chillwave synthwave mix, you'll find it. You'll see a photo of a picture of robot Bart Simpson. Bart Simpson as RoboCop. It's uploaded by Smooth Sounds. Smooth Sounds at Smooth Sounds. They have 322k subscribers. And the mix is called Cyberdream Chillwave Synthwave Mix. You are welcome. I'm only worried because I've tried to call Dave Bondar a few times, and it goes straight to voicemail, so I don't know if his phone's a new phone or if he's just... And I've emailed him and I've gotten no response, and I'm like, I think if he died I would have heard something. I think someone would have told me, but I don't know. If Dave wants me to come help him do reviews, all he has to do is ask. I'm always down to do reviews. I'd be more than happy to look at your work. James doesn't work at UMass anymore, and I'm not going to try and reach out to his personal number. James and JF both got canned. I'll ask Bruce. Bruce is still there. Hey, Liliana Nunez. Alright. I gotta finish the top of these two things, and I gotta get these bottom tentacles cleaned up, and then I gotta give some love to her hair. I can't even... I'm so happy we got the cables done last stream. Holy shit, that took forever. Hey, you found it. Good, Alex. That's great. Most of the playlists uploaded by these guys are great. Yeah. He's probably still at Leslie. I was worried they let him go during COVID because they fired all the adjuncts when they shut down the campus. So I hope he still works there. But yeah, like I was lecturing there for a while, and they got rid of everybody during COVID. Dude, not to... I don't want to shit on academia, like, too much, but, like, they offered me a full-time position at Leslie, and the pay was so fucking low. It was unreal. Like, I'd have to commute to Boston 4 times a week. I'd have to keep office hours. Like, it was under 10 grand, I'll put it that way. It was under $10,000 for a semester. I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? And they were like, well, you don't have a master's. And I was like, it's a full-time job. Like, what? And they're like, well, most people are making money off their art and doing this as supplemental. And I'm like, I'm not going to make much money off of art if I'm driving in here 4 times a week, guys. Like, this is ludicrous. Yeah, it was bad. It was a full-time adjunct position. It was like 40-ish hours. It might have been sub 40 a little bit. I can't quite... It was something. High 30s, low 40s. And it was like 10K a semester. It was like 3,000 a month, basically. I was like, this... what? Like, no shot, dude. Maddie, do you mind if I ask what you teach? Is it art related or is it something else? I did a really specific thing at Leslie for a long time that was really popular. I would have like, I don't know, anywhere from 50 to 60 students opt in for this thing I would do. It was ingoing student and outgoing student marathon reviews. So I would get a big thing of coffee. I'd come in at like 5 in the morning. I'd stay there all day. And for incoming freshmen at the beginning of the semester, I would do a review where I look at their portfolio, ask them what kind of job they want to get, tell them what classes to focus on and what kind of stuff they need to have in their portfolio to get that job by the end of their school year, and go through piece by piece and do paint overs on like, here's what to focus on, here's the fundamentals to focus on, here's what you need, here's some contacts to reach out to when you do want to apply for this job, here's some people I know personally that you can reach out to. Like, I would do that for every incoming student, and then for outgoing graduating students, I would look at their thesis, look at their portfolios, tell them what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what they're missing to get the job they want, do paint overs on all of their stuff, give them business contacts for people they can reach out to get their first published jobs, connect them with other people that are looking for work. I would do this for anyone who showed up on those 2 days. There was incoming student day and outgoing student day. And if you showed up, you got a review. The average review was 35 minutes. And I would do it for anywhere from 40 to 70 students on any given day. It was 12 hours. It's massive, huge sessions. They would go for multiple days at a time sometimes. And it was great. Leslie loved it. The students had a great time. It was super informative. It was a really good way to network. That's how I met Sarah Alfagi, the amazing comics artist who's in like 30 Under 30. She's incredible. Like, met tons of people doing that, but that was like the marathon reviews were like, people would say they got more out of that than they got out of their whole school year. Just because it was like so focused on them as an individual with like actual business contacts they could use. I miss doing those. I haven't done one since COVID. I used to do those twice a year. It would be like 3 days of incoming and 3 days of outgoing. But I feel weird charging for a mentorship for some reason. I don't feel like I'm good enough skill-wise to do that yet. But if they're already paying a college a ton of money, I'm happy to take the college's money. Like, you know, to give them something, because most art schools I've seen, and I've been to a few, and I've taught at a few, they have some the good ones have like some fundamental basis where they're like, okay, we're going to teach you anatomy and lighting and painting, and like a good art school usually has that down if you're looking for it. But almost none of them, even SVA, which I consider like the gold standard of art schools in the US, none of them have business classes where they teach you what to put in your portfolio, who to send it to, who to reach out to, how to network, how taxes work. None of them have it. Even the best ones don't have it. And I don't understand that. It feels like such a massive blind spot. I just don't get it. Planetary geology. Oh man. You're gonna love it when you get to Cosmo Canyon and FF7. Like, my art school experience triggered me to the point where when I go in and I teach students, I try to give them everything I didn't get in 4 years of school in 30 minutes. Like, I have a checklist of stuff that I didn't get, and I try to give them all of that as fast as possible, because I'm still so mad about how bad my education was. But yeah. Maddie, don't you... I don't want to say this. I don't know if this is doxing. Don't you work for like a pretty big government agency? I thought I heard that. I thought you worked for like a very impressive thing. I'm not going to say. Let me see if you said it in chat. Planetary geology. I think you should do oil painting streams, personally. Oh boy. I can't remember if you told me who you work for, Maddie, or if Kim told me. But I was very like, whoa. Yeah, I thought so. I won't say anything else about it. I was just very impressed. You could be one of those painters that works for National Geographic when they're like, because National Geographic commissions a lot of oil painters to do stuff of like planets and space stuff. Like a surprising amount of like scientific art gets commissioned by them. I feel like you could corner that niche really well if you wanted to. Oh, Maddie, you'll appreciate this. Someone asked me to drive them home the other day. And home was in southern Illinois. And I was like, listen, I love you. I'm never doing a cross-country drive again for as long as I live. I would rather tear all of my hair out than do that and turn around and drive back to Massachusetts. God, that's right, I could. My uncle from Southern Illinois came up here to get some cancer stuff done. Because apparently everyone in my family has cancer at the same time. He's okay, but they think it's benign. They're like 85% sure, but he drove all the way up here in like a rental or something. I don't actually know how, because he needs a ride back. I don't know how the fuck he got here, but he needs to go back now. And I'm like, dude, I love you, but I'm not driving you to fucking Anna, Illinois. I'm not doing it. I don't know, like, if people in chat have any experience driving for 20 hours straight. It's an experience. It's not my favorite thing. The furthest I ever drove, this is dark. Furthest I ever drove was my good friend, shout out, Evan Amundsen, wanted to get a special Cintiq that they did not sell in Canada, but they did sell in America. And I said, listen, man, you buy it, I'll pick it up, and I'll drive it to you in Quebec. And he was like, sick, we can hang out, that's awesome. I was like, yes. I lived in Boston at the time. Quebec was about an 8-hour drive. So I pick up the Cintiq, I get in my car. When I cross the border, my GPS shuts off and reconnects to a new satellite because I crossed the border. So I go, okay. I end up in what I think is Quebec. Ends up being, I think it was Quebec Avenue or something in Montreal. I call Evan and I'm like, I think I'm here. And he's like, dude, you're in Montreal. And I'm like, fuck. So then I get back in my car. I drive another, I think it was 4 or 5 hours to get to Quebec from Montreal. I get there, give Evan a hug. We sit down, we have some Indian food. While I'm eating the Indian food, I get a call from Dave Raposa. And he says, hey man, I'm sorry to ask you this. I'm in Germany. My father just died. I have to fly home for the funeral. I have no way of getting from the airport to my house. Could you pick me up? My flight's gonna be there in 8 hours. And I said, yeah, man, absolutely. Didn't tell him I was in Canada. Gave Evan a hug, said, hey man, sorry, I gotta drive back to the States. Got back in my car, drove all the way back to Boston at Logan Airport, picked Dave up, took Dave to Southern Massachusetts, dropped him off, then drove home back to Boston. Went to bed. I think it was like 22 hours of driving. It was like Boston, Montreal, Montreal, Quebec, Quebec, Boston, Boston, Cape Cod, Boston. Oh my God. That was such a, ugh. It was such a bummer. Dave's dad was an awesome guy. I mean, there's no way I wasn't going to pick Dave up. If I was in California, I would have flown back to pick Dave up. Dave's dad was like huge part of my life. Obviously, Dave's my best friend. His dad was one of the nicest people I've ever met. I didn't know dads could be that nice. I didn't have a dad like that. So Dave's dad always baffled me. I was like, wait a minute. You can have a dad who supports your dreams and also is not abusive. You can have a dad who's comfortable saying nice things to you, like he's proud of you. I think that's a possibility. I didn't know that. Dave's dad was a really cool guy. I'll tell you the saddest part of it. I don't know why I was thinking about this the other day, but I was. Dave sent me a video of him pushing the kids, the boys on the swing. And his son Axel was having a great time laughing. And you know, I don't know why my brain went there, but I was just like, man, it's such a bummer that Dave's dad isn't around, because those kids would fucking love him and he would love them. Those would have been some funny videos. Yeah. He was just a really nice, supportive guy. Anytime I would when Dave was moving around and stuff, and he didn't have a car at one point, I would, if Dave had to come home or if he had to leave his dogs somewhere, if he was traveling abroad, I'd pick him up and bring him home so he could leave him with his dad. So anytime I did that, Dave's dad would always go out of his way to, take me aside or sit down with me for a minute and just be like, how are you? What are you doing? What are you guys working on? It's so awesome you guys are doing what you're doing. It's great that you're both, working in the industry you wanted to work in. Then he'd tell me about how proud he was of all the shit Dave was doing and it's so crazy. He'd tell me some stuff he was reading. He was just he went out of his way to make you feel appreciated and like you mattered, because I think to him you did. Yeah, I don't know. He always made me feel like I was welcome and that he actually gave a shit, which is super, at least for me, super, super rare. But anyway, enough depressing conversation. Let's talk about what really matters. What vocation your main pawn is in Dragon's Dogma 2. Come on, guys, let me know. Archer, sorcerer, thief, fighter. We going DPS or DOT? Come on, guys. Stop talking about nerd shit. Like how my best friend's dad was more of a father to me than my own dad, okay? Let's talk about what really matters. Like how stronger body types have a higher equipment load in Dragon's Dogma 2. What are pawns? Okay, so how do I explain this? In Dragon's Dogma 2, you can make a character, and then you can make a companion for your character. So, your companion can carry stuff that you don't have the equip load to carry. They can be a support role, so if you're a fighter, you can make them a healer, stuff like that. They're always with you. They're always an assist. They can balance out shortcomings in your player character, but also, you can send your pawn into other people's games to help them as, an NPC party member. And then when you turn the game back on, they will bring back rewards and experience from helping that other person in their world. So it's like a soft multiplayer system. So if you make a really cool pawn that you're proud of, you can send it off into other people's games to help them. And when it comes back to your world, it'll have a bunch of new stuff. And vice versa. You can take their pawns into your game and shit. So it's just a cool, weird system Capcom came up with. You toss fools. Yeah, I guess there is some tossing of fools in Dragon's Dogma. I think that's accurate. I've seen some fools get tossed, yes. My nose is very itchy today. What's up, D? Oh boy. Ugh. I would stream Dragon's Dogma if I could, but there's no Mac version of it, so I can't. Tennis? Oh my god. Why do I have a Mac? I don't know. I'm just used to working on Macs. Someone said they were better for graphics processing back in the day, which I think was true in like 2008. Probably not anymore, and now I'm just used to it. I don't know if it's still the case, but when I was working in studios, Mac was always the standard. I don't know if I'm wrong, but the few movie and game studios I would do stuff at, they Mac was always the standard equipment they always had in-house. I've never used Linux, so I can't have an opinion on that. I know people that use Linux swear by it, so there's probably something to it. Yeah, I think for digital art, Mac is pretty much the standard everywhere, and for coding, PC is the standard everywhere. I don't know why that is. It just kind of is. I couldn't tell you why. Like I said, I think it's because at one point in history, Mac was better at processing graphic stuff. I don't know if it is anymore, but I know back in the day it was certainly known as something that was better at doing that stuff. It is a bummer that basically everything on Steam is PC only, though. I mean, you say that, but I'm pretty sure Mac had a much better graphics interface thing, or whatever the fuck it's called, for Photoshop back in the day. I remember Photoshop specifically saying that Mac ran the stuff better. And it was better for 3D modeling and shit, too, when I was in school. Or at least that's what was said to me by the conspiracists, who were all in on it to get that sweet, sweet Apple paycheck. No, I have no idea. Maybe it's all bullshit. I have no clue. That is true. I will say that Macs are less fuss. I've had PCs, and the issues I have with PCs I never have with a Mac. That being said, when my PC broke, I could get it fixed relatively cheaply. When my Mac breaks, it's like fucking dealing with the American healthcare system. It's like fucking, it's a process to get your Mac fixed. But yeah. It's a trade-off. Ease of use on a Mac, I think, is generally considered to be higher, but when something goes wrong, it goes really wrong. You have to know a little bit more about what you're doing to do stuff on, you know, PC, but it's much cheaper and much easier to fix a problem. I think you're right, Alex. I could be wrong, but I thought Adobe built Photoshop for Mac specifically. I thought that was the case, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's all propaganda. Big Mac. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I could have sworn that there were certain Macs that were designed specifically to run Photoshop and 3D graphics programs back at like the advent of 3D. Like when it was getting huge in like the Lord of the Rings movies and stuff. I could have sworn there were articles I read that were about how they had to specifically ask Apple to make these special rigs that could run the 3D rendering programs for them because other computers weren't capable of doing it. And then that got turned into a bunch of stuff that became standard issue out of the box, you know, years later. If I had the technical know-how to fix shit on my own and I understood anything about PCs, I would absolutely build my own. But you're talking to somebody who had a 4.0 GPA because, and only because, I failed algebra so many times they realized it wasn't my ability to learn, it was just that I, for some reason, can't do math at all. So anything PC related, anything calculation related, I failed algebra so many times that they literally waived it and to let my GPA be what it should have been. I have no clue how to do any of that shit. I can do math, I can do division. Once you introduce variables and logarithms, I literally can't even comprehend what you're talking about. So the idea of coding to me, I'd rather blow my brains out. Oh my god. I shampooed my hair and it's getting all fucking frizzed out. I need a haircut so bad, chat. Holy shit. Holy shit, chat. One of these days, in the next week or two, I'm shaving it all off. It's just, ooh. Ooh, this is not a good time. Good luck, Gnome. I could never do that, like literally. I remember, in order to pass me in a class for algebra, I remember after failing it so many times, the professor sat down with me and was like, I'm gonna walk you through the final exam and we're gonna figure out these problems together, just so I know that you understand the logic of the problem. And I remember him sitting there explaining a logarithm to me. And he was like, so, I still didn't understand it, so I couldn't really repeat to you what he was telling me. But he was doing it all very meticulously, and he was like, so, if we move this number here, and that number goes there, then that would mean... And I'm like, it would mean what? And he's like, well, if this number's here, and that number's there, and this is how this works, then that would mean... And I was like, this would mean what? Like, And, like, it got to the point after, I want to say, like, 90 minutes of him walking me through, like, alone in a room, walking me through the exam, just to see if I could comprehend basic logic he was trying to explain to me. He literally was like, I think the problem here is that it's not a question of effort. He's like, I see now that it's not because you're not trying to do it. He said, I think you're just not capable of doing this. And he was like, you know, I've looked at your other grades. Your grades are excellent in all your other courses. I know you're not slacking off. I think you just can't do this. And he was like, so I'm gonna pass you with a note that this is not something I can grade you on because you're not capable of doing it. And I was able to graduate, but I still to this day cannot do anything more advanced than basic math. I can't do functions. I can't, like, I don't understand it. Yeah, he was very patient. I think once he realized that I wasn't lying when I said I couldn't do it. I think he thought that I was just being lazy and I was like partying or something and like blowing off his class. But once he realized that I was like otherwise a very good student and I took my shit real serious, I think he was like, oh, what the hell's going on here? And then when he took the time and like one-on-one with me and he realized that my brain is just very, very dumb for numbers, he was like, oh, like I managed to skate through art school without any of my teachers finding out that I was colorblind because I didn't want them to know. I didn't want to be treated any differently, or I didn't want it to be a thing, so I just never told any of them. I feel like it would be like if I had told my teachers I was colorblind and they were trying to teach me color theory. It's that same kind of feeling of like, oh, it's not that you don't want to do this or that you're not trying. It's you're not capable of doing this. Like, there's something in my brain that cannot do algebra the same way there's something in my eyes that can't do shades of green. I never even made it to calculus. They didn't even let me do geometry. I couldn't get past algebra. I can't even imagine what calculus would have been. Holy shit. Can I see cool versus warm colors? Let me think of the best way to explain this to you. I can, but what I see is going to be different than what you see. I'm going to pull an image up. Okay, so here's a good example. Whatever this is, I cannot see this. If there's a number or a letter here, I can't see it. Oops. Pull up another one. If there's a number or a letter here, I can't see it. The issue is shades of green, shades of red, stuff in between there. I can't see what this is. If there's something there, I can't see it. This one, it looks like maybe there's a 2 here. Maybe that's a 2, but I can't tell. It could also be a 9. I don't know. That one's there. I can kind of see something. But then if I get away from the reds and the greens and I go for other colors, I can see this. It's a 6. There's no reds, there's no greens. So yeah, I don't know if that explains it, but I can see the 6. I can maybe see a 2 or a 9, kind of. That one's hard. This is nothing to me. I can't see anything. This is nothing to me. I can't see anything. So there you go. Dome, if you saw nothing in those swatches, then you're deuterotechnara. I don't know how to say it. Deuteroneurologically colorblind? I can't remember the word. Hey Dan, when are you and Dave gonna make a movie? We spent the last 5 years trying to make a TV show. I don't know. I think we're pretty burnt out with Hollywood stuff at this point. Yeah, grains are tough. My problem is whenever I would mix a skin tone, there would be green in it. And I would constantly get grilled about it. Like, why are your skin tones green? And, like, I think it's because I'm assuming, because I was using traditional paint back then. I'm assuming it's because I put blue on the palette for shat. I don't know. But I would always get bad critiques because my skin would always skew green and I couldn't see the green. They'd be like, why is it green? And I'd be like, I don't know, why is it green? Because I can't, I didn't tell them I couldn't see it, but I couldn't fucking see it. It got to the point that I had to take yellow off the palette completely. Yeah, I've been enjoying, I will switch back to color for the series of Baldur's Gate things I'm gonna be doing next month. But, I've been enjoying taking this little break and working in gray for a while. I like, I pulled this up the other day, but I'll pull it up now. This unfinished painting I have that I've been enjoying. This unfinished, Don Quixote thing I did. Like, I kind of enjoy this. I enjoy just rendering in gray and then colorizing it this way. It feels kind of antique in a weird way. Like, I've been enjoying a little break from color and just focusing on rendering fun, detailed stuff. But I'll finish this painting someday, or it'll kill me, one or the other. But yeah. It's been fun to not worry about color for a while. Someday, it'll get done. Hopefully before summer. We'll see. These were fun, the little faces with his mustache. Yeah, I'll get it done someday. Someday. We'll see. I love this stuff. All this old bas relief shit. Why do some artists prefer grayscale to color methods? If I had to guess, it's because it streamlines the painting process and it's faster. You see it a lot in concept art. Like busting out a grayscale painting lets you focus on your lighting and the dynamic forms, then you just drop some color on quickly. Like it's faster to do a bunch of shit in a row if you do that process usually, because you can just focus on the design and the lighting. But that would be my guess. Yeah, it's a big painting. It's a big one. I've got a few big paintings that are not done. I've got a few. I'll release them someday as blankets, because the resolution is so high I can put them on a fucking tapestry. And then you can curl up and let my painting warm your body on a cold night. How intimate. Yeah, a lot of people just do black and white paintings and then do all their stuff in adjustment layers so they can just change the shit on the fly. It's a cool way of working. I never got great at it, but it's definitely got benefits if you're doing concept art. Because then, a couple tweaks, everything's different. Oh my god, Cyberdream Chillwave 2? Oh my god, it's another Simpsons robot? Talos. I got like another hour and a half, and then I gotta go get ready for this thing I'm cooking for tonight. I believe, I could be wrong, I believe the Sistine Chapel was painted in grayscale. It was a technique called Grisaille or Grisal or something. He painted the whole thing in toned washes and then did the color over it in transparencies. I believe. I remember learning that in art history. I can't remember if it was a function of the necessary pigment being hard to get, so he wanted to get the work started without having to wait for all the colors to be available, or if it was just a matter of the lighting in there would change so frequently that he had to do it in, whatever, because the colors would change. But I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it was painted using a technique where I believe the color was made with a distillation of like egg whites and vinegar and turned into a wash, if I'm remembering. But yeah. Also, the Golden Age illustration people like N.C. Wyeth and Howard Pyle did grayscale, but instead of gray, they used sienna. So they use umber and burnt sienna, and they would either darken it or lighten it, and they would do what they called a toned ground for the painting. And then they would wash in the blues and the reds and the yellows on top of that transparently for emphasis, which is why the whole painting feels very warm. That's why all their stuff feels extremely cohesive. What's a good example, actually? They all used a form of grayscale painting, which I actually enjoy quite a bit. Let's see. Yeah, here's a good example. So NC Wyeth, he would do a little work like this. So he would put the drawing on the board, and then he would do a transparent wash over the drawing of all burnt sienna, like at like 50%. So everything had a little bit of that base color in it. And then he would mix the burnt sienna with umber and blue to make a dark brown. And he would go in and he would block in the lighting and the shadows by doing the darkest areas first. And then he would mix some sienna with some white and he would wash in the highlights. And then after that, if an area was blue, he would thin out the blue and he would lay it over the sienna, which is where you get these really cool colors in here, where it's blue, but there's like a warmth to the blue because that sienna layer on the bottom is showing through it. You can see it really well on the fucking masts over here. So that method is called using a toned ground. So even though he washed in yellow for the light on these rocks in the background and blue for the shadow, the yellow and the blue both have that sienna coming through to make the whole thing feel cohesive. It's a really cool method. Yeah. Yeah. So, Golden Age painters. That's how they did stuff. They had a, everybody at the Brandywine School, which was Howard Pyle's school of illustration, the famous one that led to the Golden Age, they all followed the same method, which was, they would do a sketch, a composition sketch, then they would take a reference photograph of someone in a costume in the position of their sketch. Then they would do a drawing, a very detailed drawing based on the photo reference and the sketch. Then they would do a tone ground. Then they would wash in the darks. Then they would wash in the highlights. Then they would wash in the color, and that would be the end. It was the same process for every painting by Maxfield Parrish, by Howard Pyle, by NC Wyeth, by you know, the guy I'm ripping off right now, fucking the Arrow Collar poster guy. JC Leyendecker, that's what I'm thinking of. All the Golden Age illustrators followed that process. It was what Howard Pyle taught them to do. It was extremely effective. It made it so there was a steady workflow, and it made it so multiple people could work on multiple pieces at the same time because you could wash in people's tone grounds and darks and lights while other people did drawings and vice versa. So that's how you could get a finished illustration of that quality done in like a week for a magazine. Why did they draw in detail before the painting? They drew, so they did their sketch of what they wanted the piece to be. Then they took reference photographs to get the lighting and the drapery and stuff correct, so they wouldn't have to make any details up to save time. And then they would do a detailed drawing on the board before the painting because they wanted They didn't want to fudge anything. They didn't want to leave it up to the paint stroke. They're trying to save time, basically, because it was an illustration school. It was about hitting deadlines, not the art of painting. So having your drawing in place and fixed means that you don't have to fudge anything or find the piece in the painting. It just means here's your drawing, it's down, wash in the darks, wash in the lights, wash in the color, finished. It was designed to be assembly line. You save time by having the drawing locked in so nothing changes in the painting phase. Yeah. All of their paint layers were done with transparencies. They weren't using a ton of opaque paint. And a lot of the work you can see the drawing showing through, which is pretty cool. I don't have any Cintiq. I was thinking of getting one, but right now I'm just using an out-of-the-box current year Mac monitor with a Mac Studio. I don't have a Cintiq. I was worried about the learning curve on a Cintiq, and I have a bunch of deadlines, so I didn't want to like get a Cintiq and not be used to using it and have my work process slow down any more than it already is. But people seem to swear by the new ones. I wanted to get the 32, but I always see Dave and other people complaining about the pixels dying, so I'm kind of worried about it. I'd like one, I want to make sure it's not gonna fucking die on me. Like what I'm doing right now, adding this tentacle, this is finding the piece in the painting. This adds a ton of time to getting work done. If I had started this with a tight drawing, stuff like this wouldn't be happening and I'd be saving time. So this is like what the Brandywine people were trying to prevent was, oh, I started the painting, the final, and it looks off, so now I'm gonna add shit and subtract shit to try and balance it out. They would resolve all the composition problems in the sketch and then in the drawing, so stuff like what I'm doing right now would never happen. It's almost like they were considered masters for a reason, and I should be emulating them, but there you go. How often do I host a bunch of people for dinner? Well, I'm not hosting tonight. I have to cook it here and then take it to the location. But I used to do a dinner party once a week, and I would have about 20 people over, and I would cook a bunch of shit just because when I built this house, I knew I was going to be living somewhere kind of remote in a big empty house. And I promised myself that I wouldn't become like a weird hermit, and I would force myself to like have people over and do social things and try to like, you know, enjoy the space. Because there's no point in having the space I have if you're not doing something with it. So for the first year and a half I lived here after building it, I had people over once a week for dinner parties and get-togethers and things that I would cook for and host, and it was great. But then I started to take dieting really seriously and working out really seriously, and I've lost a ton of weight. And as a result, I typically only do it like once a month, maybe once every 2 months now instead of once a week. And even then, when I do have people over, I'm not eating the food I'm cooking. I'll make like something for myself and eat it before people get here, and then let them enjoy the food and just kind of hope nobody mentions, why aren't you eating? But yeah, I have a lot of friends who either pay me to cook for events that they do, or they invite me to potluck type things, and I have to bring something. So yeah, like I've cooked for a lot of like engagement parties, and I had a friend's birthday a couple weeks ago where they wanted a whole prime rib dinner that I had to smoke and do sides for, and that was like a whole day thing. Like, I get hired to cook by people fairly regularly, but tonight is a dinner party that I was asked to bring an entree for. So that is what's going on with that. But yeah, I used to host dinner parties once a week, but now it's maybe once a month. In the summer, it's usually once a week because I have a beach here and people like to swim and sit out in the sun. So I'll probably have like a cookout every weekend. But yeah. Well, Maddie, if you ever want to come to New England and enjoy the summer here, see Cape Cod, have a cookout, let me know. Be happy to host you. I can invite some art people. There's a good amount of art people that live around here. Other people in the industry, other people that were in like Crimson Daggers, friends of me and Dave's. So yeah, I don't know. Typical in the summer, if I have a party, it's typically like 50 to 70 people. Typically, a smaller like cookout is usually like 30. So I have a decent amount of people, and I end up cooking for a lot of people. Yeah, I do have a beach. I live on a lake, so I can't show you, I guess. If I open up the window over there, it's just I'm like right on the water. It's like so. There's a photo of my house on my Instagram, I think, from last 4th of July at night. But that's why I built this house here, because even though the town isn't the best town to live in, the location of like it being in the woods on the water was like, it's kind of like a dream location. I couldn't really not do it. It sucks that I'm not in like a bigger town or like near more people, but other than that, everything else about it's pretty good. Yeah, I have big parties here. I like hosting big parties and having people over because I'm alone the rest of the time. It's like I live alone here with my dog. I don't have a significant other or a roommate. 95% of the time, I'm completely by myself. So when I have parties, I have big parties. Yeah, it's my house. I built it. I designed the whole thing from the floor up. Designed all the rooms, did drawings of everything, handed it to an architect, and was like, here's the house I want to build, make it happen, and then we went from there. But yeah, everything here was designed to be the way it is. That's why I have these big dumb stained glass windows behind me. I bought these windows before I built the house, and I built the third floor around them so I could install them. Yes, I did design a restaurant and an arcade. They're both being built. The restaurant is a family business that my father decided to open instead of retiring. So I designed that building, and my brother's opening a barcade about 15 minutes from my house, and I helped him design his barcade. Because paying somebody to do the design work is like tens of thousands of dollars, and I can do it for free. And it's fun to... I don't know how to describe this. It's the same feeling of like, I don't know if anyone in here has ever done concept art for something and then a 3D model gets made of it, and seeing your work as a 3D model you can rotate is like super satisfying in a weird way because it feels more real. It's like, oh, that drawing I did is like a thing now. And like the more advanced version of that for me was like designing a building. I built this house in Minecraft originally, and then I did detailed drawings of it based on the Minecraft build. My Minecraft build was every 2 blocks was 1 foot, so a 30-foot space would be 60 blocks. And then I did detailed drawings of it. Being able to design a space and then walk around in it after it's been built is like the ultimate evolution of seeing your work get turned into a 3D model. It's such a weird feeling to like... That restaurant's huge. That's a big building. And I drew that whole thing out, multiple drafts. And being able to walk around inside of it now is crazy. It's very weird to be like, oh, like this is like a thing I made and I'm in it. Like it's very weird. Nice, dude. Love a good rapier. I love old houses, Maddie. My grandmother's house was built in 1680, and it still has the original wooden beams in it, and a honeybee oven in the basement. That thing was the biggest pain in the ass to take care of in the fucking world, so I feel you. The amount of maintenance to keep that thing standing, ludicrous. Yeah, it's still around. It's in Plymouth. It was one of the first houses they built when they came off the Mayflower. It was originally a barn, and then it got converted into a house in... it was a barn that was built in 1665, and then in 1680 they converted it in for a living space, and then they put an addition on it in like 1730, I think. All the documentation is still there, which is cool. But yeah, it's one of the oldest still standing buildings in that part of the country. The town she lived in is right next to Plymouth, where the Pilgrims landed and started the colony. She's about 20 minutes away from there, so it was one of the first secondary settlements. And yeah, somehow it didn't burn down all these years. There's some really old shit in Salem, about the same age as my grandmother's stuff. The Salem Witch House and stuff are all very, 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 very good examples of that kind of architecture. Is it registered? Does it have a plaque? I don't think it does because it was a barn. I don't think like anyone famous lived there. I know the Historical Society tried to buy it from us though, because we put it on the market at one point because nobody would rent it because it was too hard to take care of, and the Historical Society was going to buy it from us. I don't think it has a plaque though. If it does, it's on the front of the house, which is very hard to see because of where it is. It's I can just give you the address. You can look at it on Google Earth. It's 585 State Road, Plymouth, Massachusetts, on Zillow. You can see the inside of the house. This is the house I grew up in. We sold it a few years back because I didn't want to, but I got outvoted by the two other people that owned it. So I wanted to hold on to it forever, and they wanted some quick cash, so they sold it a few years ago. But you know, all the woodwork in there and the photos is all original. It's all been there for hundreds of years. It's a damn shame they sold the place, but who knows? Maybe I'll get it back someday. It was a cool house to grow up in, for sure. It's about 2 blocks up from the beach. It's a walk to the beach, but you can get there. It's not right on the beach. My mom probably put those beach photos on the listing because she's a deceptive bitch. No, I'm just kidding. I love my mom. She knew that she could sell that place if she showed some sweet-ass beach photos. Typical Jane maneuver. Typical Jane maneuver. Suckering people in. I'll tell you what, if you want to be creepy, here's what I'll do. I will pause the video right now. I will get up and record a video of me standing up in my studio, walking outside to show you the beach. And then I'll put it on my Instagram story. Then you can all look at it. That's the only way I can show you, because I'm not doxing myself. I refuse to do it. I know. I told them not to sell it. I got outvoted. I was the trustee on it, but, you know. My grandma had 2 daughters, and I was the trustee, and yeah. But anyway, back to the point. I have a lot of parties here in the summer because living here is dumb if you don't have people over to enjoy it. The notification from Twitter part of that is very funny. Adios. Later, Miguel. Send me that message. Let's talk about art direction. Adios. I'll be on here for another 45 minutes-ish. And then I gotta go start cooking. What's up, J.R. Barker? Glad you like it. I'm enjoying it. Slowly but surely. I will say, listen, chat. I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you about a deep, dark secret, okay? Something I'm embarrassed to admit, okay? I'm gonna delete this VOD so nobody hears me say this, alright? It's just for you. I am a little worried that Tim Burton can't make a good Beetlejuice movie in 2025. But the line, "the juice is loose" in the trailer was pretty good, okay? There's a pretty good line for him to say, alright? And may give me some hope. Alright, I'm gonna delete the VOD now. I don't want anyone to hear me say that. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. I haven't either. Tim's lost a step, okay? But Wednesday was okay. And Michael Keaton is having a bit of a renaissance. I'm just saying it's not hopeless. I'm just saying it's not hopeless, okay, chat? There's a chance we get a competent Beetlejuice sequel 40 years after the original one came out. What the fuck? Plus, it was good to hear his, like, "Hey, the juice is loose, baby." It was very, hey, it was very, the voice was still there. He did it. "The juice is loose." It's probably gonna suck. I'm bracing myself for it to suck, okay? I'm bracing myself for impacts. But I want to believe. I never saw Dumbo 2019. I never saw that. I think Beetlejuice came out before I was born. I think Beetlejuice came out in like 1983? 85? It didn't come out in the 90s. In the 90s, we had the superior Beetlejuice animated cartoon on Nickelodeon. The superior. Because Beetlejuice and Lydia being friends that go on ghost adventures in the afterlife is a much better idea than a ghost looking for a child bride. Okay? I love both. Listen, I love both. But the cartoon is what it should have been the whole time. Also, if you haven't seen it, chat, the Beetlejuice animated cartoon intro, one of the greatest cartoon introductions of all time. I get hyped just thinking about it. Oh, I keep touching that transform tool. That shape thing. Ugh. Stop. Watch Mad God? Yeah. It's been a while though. Fuck, I should not be this tired. Been sleeping like shit this week. Here's a thing that happened yesterday. It's not a fun thing. Warning. I woke up at 5 in the morning to take my mom up to the city for her cancer tests. And when I went outside, there were police everywhere and news people with news vans and people standing in front of cameras and shit all around my house. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And got in my car and I started to leave my driveway, and a cop directed me out of the way so I wouldn't get in the way of a news shot. And I was like, what's going on? And he was like, one of the houses next to yours burnt down last night and the people inside died. And I was like, I slept through that? And they were like, apparently. And I was like, what? So I was like, whose house was it? Because I live out in the woods. I can't see all the houses super easy. And he was like, I can't tell you anything, sir. Just move along. And I was like, so I tried to drive down the street and see which house it was, but I couldn't get a good picture of it. So I took my mom to the hospital. And around noon, we found out that it was an old friend of our family who was in my parents' wedding. He was one of my dad's groomsmen. His name was Jimmy, who I've known basically my whole life. I wasn't super close with him, but I've known him forever. And I still don't know what caused the fire. I have no clue. But somehow I slept through that, and it was like maybe a couple 100 feet away. So that's a thing. I don't know. That's been weird to not be processing in the back of my head all day. Yeah. I don't know how the fuck I slept through that. I don't know how my dog didn't wake me up. I don't know. That's the third fire, the third fatal fire in our town in a month. So, maybe I'll leave my stream on 24 hours just in case. Just in case you guys start seeing flames. Because really, at this rate, 3 fatal fires in 1 month in the same, like, 5-mile area. I'm just saying, chat. Who knows? No, it's not a big town. It's a very small town. I have no idea if they think it's related or not, or if it's just an insane coincidence. I have no clue. We don't know the cause of the fire from next door yet. Or if they do, no one's told me. I don't know. It's such a bummer. My brain's like not processing it. I'm gonna take a quick look at this other painting I gotta work on this weekend. I just want to wrap my head around it. Alright, so this weekend I gotta do these hands, finish off the scales, dead bodies. For those of you who did not see, I found out that I have the sketch for this. I didn't realize that I saved the sketch for this piece, and I still have it. Show you how important having a good thumbnail is, chat. 90% of the work was done on the thumbnail for this piece. 90%. I'll show you how effective a good sketch is, okay? Like, this looks really detailed, and it looks like I did a ton of work and spent hundreds of hours on it. Trust me, when you see the sketch, you're gonna understand how fast a piece can come together, okay? called work harder, work smarter, not harder, you know? Check this out. What did I tell you, chat? 90% of the work was done in the sketch. It's all there. Chat. Chat. Hard part's over. Move on. Could have just turned this in. Ah, fuck me. I think I sent that to my client. I think I sent that sketch to them, and I think their exact reply was, "I trust you." So I'm thinking something like this with Reichard. I trust you. Oh boy. I gotta find if they'll let me stream my third and final Elden Ring piece. If they do, that'll be fun. That'll be like two or 3 months of stream content. That's gonna be a fucking massive piece based on how long the other ones took. I don't know if they're gonna let me stream it though. If you've seen this one, this was my first Elden Ring piece. That was the first one. And then this was the second one. And there's one more that's going to be red. If you've played the game, you'll know what that means. Thumbnail sketching. The thumbnail's already done. I already started the piece. But yeah. These paintings take so fucking long, chat. Chat, you have no idea. God help me. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they let me stream the third one. That'd be nice. What's up, Miguel? Welcome back. I hope it was delicious. Later, Maddie. Pet the dog for me. Another 15 minutes, chat, and then I gotta go. I'll be here all day tomorrow, though. I did see The Boy and the Heron. I saw it in theaters. It was great. There's some really heavy commentary on the nature of creation and fandom. And it feels like Miyazaki's directly talking to the audience, which was pretty cool. I haven't seen him be that on the nose with like a meta commentary before. But yeah. He's definitely struggling with the idea of his legacy in the plot, which is interesting to see. Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy. Hello. What, do you want to go on stream again? I'll be off in a minute. We can play. I'll take you for a walk. She's a great dog. She gets to play with other dogs tonight, so she'll be nice and tired tomorrow. Is this seriously a Willy Wonka remix? I didn't pre-screen this. Is that seriously what I'm listening to right now? It's a Pure Imagination remix? Alright, chat, I'm gonna be going in a couple minutes. Good seeing y'all. Glad y'all came, hung out, said hi. I'll be back tomorrow all day. We'll get a bunch of work done on this and that other piece. Whatever you're up to tonight, I hope you have a lovely night. If you're playing Dragon's Dogma, or you're going out and seeing people, or you're staying in and working, whatever you're doing, have a lovely evening. Yeah, I don't know. And as a guy who just had the house next to him burned down with a guy in it he knew inside, I'm just saying, do something fun. Go enjoy life. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know. Do something with someone you love, or at least do something fun for you. Good God. My brain hasn't wrapped itself around the fact that that happened yet, so I'm still kind of talking about it nonchalantly. But, yeah, I don't know. Have some fun. Do something productive or entertaining or soul enriching. Because you know what? You deserve it. I don't know who you are, but you deserve it. So have fun. Have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow. And if you follow me on Instagram, keep an eye out for a photo of a big plate of sausages I'm about to make to take to a fucking dinner event. Oh boy. Oh boy, tasty food. Alright, chat. Goodbye. Love you. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.